Guys, it's the Donut Kelman podcast, and we're back, me and Joshy, after about a month and a half off. So even today at work, remember, I'm still a plumber. YouTube ain't paying the bills yet. Yeah. I remember all day being like, wow, I actually feel nervous today. I feel nervous. I haven't done this in a while, where we did easily around 15 episodes in like 3 weeks. And where I do an episode every 2 weeks for YouTube, it's kind of taken us all the way up to now. So, guys, we have an actor of extreme talent in front of me today.
You're very kind. You're very kind.
And we're gonna go through his story, the highs, the lows, the pros, the cons, from beginning to end. We have got George Russo here. Everybody, give him a clap. Give him a clap.
Hello.
Now, I'm gonna give you a little intro.
Okay, I thought that was it. How can it get better than that? You know? It's only downhill from there.
I know. So we have got such a CV on you.
Okay.
That, there's going to be people...
I'm getting worried now.
There's people that are going to recognise you, and there are people that might not.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start naming some of these, I go, oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah. So, The Bill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
EastEnders.
Yeah.
Turnout.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing film. We're going to go into all of this.
Well, that's my baby, that one. That's a special
that is where you were born to me.
One of my babies, yeah.
That was where you was born to me. But don't you worry, we're going to go through it all. You've got a nice little bit of time with me.
Right.
You've got I Am Soldier, Bonded by Blood 2, Villain.
Yeah.
You've got the upcoming Rise of the Foot Soldier stories.
That's right, yeah.
The list goes on. So this is how we do the handshake before we start.
Okay.
So I know you haven't watched the others.
That's
so
right.
It's top first, bottom twice, then top. So top,
yeah.
Bottom twice,
right.
Then top.
Cool.
One more time.
I like it. So bomb.
Boom.
There we go.
Right.
Cheers.
So George,
go on.
every single person that comes here,
Yeah.
I get them here, I make them feel comfortable. Like you were saying in the car.
Yeah.
Like what am I? You didn't want to look too much into what I'm doing, just so that you can get it fresh.
Yeah, so I didn't watch any of your podcasts purposely because I didn't want to be too contrived, I guess. I mean, if you're nervous, you've done what, 30? Did you say 30? How many?
Yeah.
I've never done any.
All right.
So you can imagine how I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you hiding it well.
So I purposely didn't watch any of your podcasts. I didn't want to, be over prepared and have any expectation. I just, whatever happens, keep it nice and organic, so.
But that's the same thing that I do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you said that.
Sometimes you can overthink these things.
Of course you can.
Like, for example, I could go on YouTube, type your name, and maybe watch all the interviews you've done and all that. And it's just like, sometimes, do you know what? I don't want to fill my head with too much stuff you've done or stuff I'm reading from the internet. The man is here in front of me.
That's right.
So I'm going to just start from scratch.
Put aside any preconceived notions. Here you go.
That's it. So,
that's it.
Actor, where was you born and raised?
So I'm from Hoxton originally. My family come out of Hoxton, and I guess you have to. I mean, I'll be quite candid. I'm open with being candid now. The older I get, the more happy I am to talk about my upbringing.
Absolutely.
And because for a long while I was quite embarrassed by it.
Right. Okay.
So I come from Hoxton, and I always say, and I nicked this from a Peter O'Toole, famous actor, his biography. He said he doesn't come from the working class; he comes from the criminal class.
Okay.
And so my mum was a professional shoplifter.
Right.
So
okay.
what they call a hoister.
Right.
And my dad was a drug dealer.
Right. Okay.
And for years people would ask me what I did, what my mum and dad did, and I'd try and think up something really especially on film sets where there's not normal middle class people, and I'd feel really ashamed. And it wasn't until I was much older, I was doing a play, and we was doing like a BBC interview. It was an Irving Welsh play, and they were doing like some sort of interview, and they said, they might ask. It was like daytime television. They said they might ask you what your parents do, and I said, well, I told them, told the little PA, the little assistant, and she said, that's very interesting. And I thought, wow, it is. For years I was ashamed of it, but now I embrace it.
Absolutely.
So it was a dysfunctional upbringing. It was unconventional.
Okay.
But there was no abuse or anything like that.
So let's go back.
My parents were loving. Go on.
So sorry to cut you. So let's go back a bit. So what is your family structure like? Do you have brothers, sisters?
Well, yeah, I've got an older sister. I guess you have to put the area that I come from into context.
Absolutely.
Right?
Definitely.
Because Hoxton is an area of social housing. It's all social housing. There's none of them old, nice Victorian or Georgian houses. It's basically just all working class, underclass people all stuck together, you know. And so that's a breeding ground for crime because,
absolutely,
you know, crime comes out of necessity a lot of the time, you know what I'm saying? So there was just criminality, I was brought up with it, you know, and so before I was around, my dad, who was an accountant originally, and he met my mum, and he'd be going to work while, and I've got an older sister, she's eight years older than me, he'd be going to work while it was dark out, and my sister would be asleep, and he'd go to work all day, and then he'd come home, it'd be dark out, and my sister had gone back to bed, you know, and then my mum would be going out once or twice a week shoplifting, you know, up the West End and, you know, and all nice boutiques and stuff. And she'd be earning like 3 times as much as him. So he thought, obviously, I'm in the wrong game here. And a lot of the young fellas that he met, you know, around that area were all doing like robbing. They used to break into break into factories then and rob fouriers and do what was called the jump up.
Okay.
Which is basically like breaking into trucks and lorries or warehouse, you know, and getting hooky gear.
Okay.
And so that's where we got our nice stuff from growing up. You know, the nice clothes, we couldn't really afford them, so all of our stuff was nicked.
So in that day, what we talking? We talking Paul Smith.
Yeah,
Scott.
I mean, I guess growing up, I mean, it was sort of like fading out by the time I got a bit older. You know, it become harder to do things like that. But, but when I was younger, I mean, they always went for like cashmere or like all the designer labels and stuff, you know. And I was get anything they could get, and they used to rob fouriers, which were fur. There were a lot of fur factories in East London, Hackney. Yeah. And so they would get the pelts, the actual fur pelts, and sell them on and get quite a lot of money. So my dad started out doing that, and he'd always sort of, I think, messed around with like pills and stuff because it was like the recreational drugs at the time were blues and bombers.
Doves.
That's much later, you see. That's ecstasy.
Okay.
That come a long time later. This is like speed amphetamines and downers that they used to take. This is before cocaine, before heroin, before ecstasy. Right. You know, and so my dad and my mum, they dabbled in those, which were just normal recreational drugs like people would have a puff. Okay. But then heroin came along. People didn't know what it was. Absolutely. It was a new drug, just like when ecstasy hit and this. And
did heroin and crack hit at the same time?
No. Crack come a lot later. Okay. Earlier in the 80s, I mean, I'm no historian, but you know, from what I've read and you know, watched documentaries and stuff, there's a great one on Netflix at the moment about crack, really fascinating. Crack coming on a lot later, and heroin come on the scene first. And there were 2 types of heroin. The first one was the China White, which you could only smoke. Okay. And then my dad managed to get hold of that. People said, "Can you get the brown one that you can shoot up?" Or it might be the other way around. I don't really know, if I'm honest. It might be no, it's definitely the China White that you can't shoot up, and the brown that you can. And people didn't know the long-term effects. There were no junkies to measure that, you know, to see that if you take this drug, that's what's going to happen. So what it did was heroin absolutely decimated the whole area. So all the chaps, all the villains, all the people that were money getters, all the armed robbers, and all the people, especially in Hoxton. I met someone yesterday actually who said, "Oh, I just remember Hoxton, like everyone was on heroin." It just swept through the whole area and took out like 2 generations.
And I think what people don't understand as well is at that period, you know, I still believe, not from personal experience, but you know, smoking heroin and injecting heroin
were kind of two different
things. Now, people around that period, you're getting a lot more cleaner drugs as well. So it's wiping out people a lot more condensed together with the crime and poverty in, for example, Hoxton, and to explain to the people how close that is to, you know, North London.
London. So it's literally like people from Hoxton like to say they're East Enders, and I guess they are. They like to say it's the East End, and it probably is considered the East End. I think it's just about within the sound of Bow Bells, which is in the city of London. It's a church in the city of London, and but it's actually N1, so it's on it's on the border. It's on the border of sort of like north. It's Islington this side. You've got the city there.
Yeah.
You know, and you can walk to the West End. You know, so it's near everywhere. And my family come from Hoxton, and but I grew up in Old Street, which I always like. For me, that's the heart of London. It's like that roundabout in Old Street.
That little roundabout,
like pumping heart of London. Like
I've had many tickets from there.
I bet you have, because you've got the city there, and you've got the West End there, and you've got North London there. You know, East London there is proper like the main ventricle, you know, of London.
Absolutely.
Know, so, and that's where I grew up. But that's, and Hoxton's just obviously, which is now Shoreditch and a trendy place to go, but it wasn't like that when I was growing up.
Okay.
I was actually there during the explosion. So just going back, like, so my dad sort of got into the heroin, not really knowing what it was he was getting into, and it destroyed his family. You know, Luckily, my mum didn't take it. It's like split my family up, and then at one point I had like 2 or 3 uncles on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? My auntie, my dad. You know what I mean? And plus like countless other people, relatives. It just was like it was an epidemic.
No, absolutely. And with that
Destroyed
experience growing up, right? Because obviously I'm not sure how old you was at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to say, but could you see the domino effect of how long it would take one person to try it, then be hooked, and then pass it to the next? And do you understand?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. I was too young. It was already sort of like happening by the time I was like 3-4 years old. It was already around me, you know.
Okay.
And I don't think no one even knew there were no long-term effects. That's what I'm saying. There was no barometer. There was no one to say, don't take that drug because that's how you end up. I mean, the kids, they're a lot savvier, and they've got examples of what drugs not to take. You know what I'm saying? So it's like. And it was kind of like drugs and criminality and madness was just like normality.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It was just normality, and so pretty colourful upbringing. And it's really weird because my mum's real dad. She's the only child between my mum and my nan.
Okay.
Right, and then between my nan and my granddad. Sorry, my nan and my granddad both went off and had other families, and my granddad married a woman called Shirley Pitts, who's got a book about her called Gone Shopping. Right. Because she was considered the Queen of Thieves. That's what they called her. She was like the best shoplifter in London.
Right.
You know, knocked about with a craze, used to like wear disguises and like store detectives would be walking past and she'd pretend to be a mannequin. You know what I mean? And like, you know, like proper characters, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on my nan's side, you know, my nan's brother is Lenny McLean's dad. Lenny McLean's dad. Sorry, they kill me for that. If there's anything I should take out, it should be that. But Lenny McLean's dad, who was a famous bare knuckle fighter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Lenny's my mum's first cousin. Mm-hmm. And
So I mean, do you watch James English?
Yeah.
So the woman that was on recently.
Yeah. So that's my cousin Kelly. But funny enough, I don't know Kelly that well.
Okay.
And she. But I know her brother very well, but I don't think they see a lot of each other.
Right, okay.
Right, but I know her brother better than I know Kelly.
And I Am Lenny, fantastic film.
Yeah.
Fantastic
My name is Lenny, yeah.
Sorry,
That's all right, yeah.
Now, so you've got all of this going on around you, right?
Yeah.
You as a bloke growing up around this now, like what school did you go to? Were you being influenced at all? Did it seem glamorized to you? What was that whole period like?
No, but it's weird. It's because drugs are such a big part of my story.
Yeah.
It's like it's in my DNA. Dom. It's like it's in my DNA. It's like everything. Like I've written 4 things that have been made, and like countless others that are in the pipeline and stuff. But 4 projects, 2 features and 2 shorts that have actually been produced.
Amazing.
And but they've all got the drug theme. Like one way or another. And I'm in recovery now. I'm 12 years, without any drink or drugs.
Oh, amazing! Let's clap him.
Thank you. But I got help. Amazing. I went to like a support group.
Okay.
And continue to meet with people, like-minded people, and but still, it's the whole thing. It all comes back
Absolutely.
And even long before I took drugs, I was always fascinated by drugs themselves, you know? Like Jimi Hendrix, you know, and like drug culture, the Doors.
Yeah.
There used to be a comic I used to read called The Freak Brothers. There was a writer I like called Hunter S. Thompson who was like Gonzo Jones.
I love Hunter S. Thompson.
There you go. And like, so
Fear and Loathing.
Yeah, Fear and Loathing. So all this drug culture, I was just influenced. It was just like it permeated my very being, you know?
Okay.
And it's in my work a lot, you know, the stuff that I write and stuff I'm interested in. One way or another, there's a theme there of, you know, I don't know, substance abuse or escapism through substances or addiction.
Absolutely, because I for one sit back and I always try and remember the way school would highlight drugs and try and explain them to you and make you aware of it, of what drugs are and what they do. And in my opinion, they did a horrific job. Horrific.
Yeah.
Millions of people do drugs.
Yeah.
Some have a hold of them. Many don't.
Yeah.
Many have lost their lives also.
Yeah.
Now, I even think the way we're taught about them glamorizes them in some sense.
Maybe.
Because you're at school and it starts with someone's doing puff.
Yeah.
And I know that people like to say weed is a gateway drug. I mean, I can't really say that as fact. But I always feel you are looking at these things in such a way like, why they're so bad? Why? What does it do?
Yeah.
All the cool people are doing it.
Yeah.
And
so they can't be that bad. They can't be that bad. Yeah.
And this is talking from like year 7, year 8.
Yeah.
And it literally is the minute you come from primary school. I mean, for me, as soon as I went from primary school to secondary school, you're seeing drugs.
Of course you are.
If you live if you're going to school in London, Essex, all these places, that's the only places I can really call from, that you're seeing these things. So you as a boy growing up, like, was you a bit naughty or what was your story?
You know, I wasn't really. I wasn't. I was a very sensitive kid.
Okay.
Always creative, you know, and like, you know, my mum was into good music and my dad was really intelligent. Like I said, he was actually like an accountant, but really quite well read and so like, and they were into like good films and music and nice clothes, and so that was always pushed onto me. So they were like artistic in a way. And my mum actually started eating like macrobiotic food when I was a baby. So eating like organic food, and she stopped eating meat and become like she was like a vegan before it was trendy to be vegan. You know?
Yeah.
And so for like a working class girl out of East London, to be vegan was like, she's way beyond her time. So my mum was kind of like alternative in that way. And she was the one that actually put my name down to to an acting school, famous acting school in Islington called Anna Shears.
Okay.
Loads of great people went, and we could talk about that a little bit later. But
absolutely.
But yeah, you know, she always nurtured my creativity. My dad was always like into like, you know, fantasy books and like the Lord of the Rings and everything, and he would always like push that sort of stuff on me, so it kept my mind, you know, really open to, you know, magical things, you know.
I'm being creative.
The creativity was always been nurtured in me, you know, even though they weren't overtly creative people.
Okay.
You know.
And I think that's the thing though as well, with being a boy growing up in them surroundings. Yeah. I feel I was very similar where reading, because I know I'm a plumber, but I've actually got an English degree.
Okay.
Reading.
Yeah.
Films was my...
Me too.
I don't know what it was with films.
Yeah.
Because I believe I liked films before reading, really.
Okay.
But films, from the minute I started watching like 15, 18 films and I was like 10.
Yeah.
Absolute. To this day, I think till forever, I'm just absolutely fascinated by the world. And to be able to sit down with someone like you today and actually get the science behind it. Because to be honest, I don't really think I've ever been able to sit down and speak to a professional actor. I don't think I ever have.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So it's quite a big thing for me to be able to pick your brain and understand it.
You know, it's like I said on the way here, you know, it's nice that you're interested, so it's a pleasure.
Yeah. So the acting, because again, not sure of your age.
Yeah.
But at that period in your life,
yeah,
especially in North London,
yeah,
I'm sure you going into acting isn't the most masculine thing to do?
Probably not, actually. Yeah, probably not.
So did you start early?
Yeah. So it all started with me. The same thing, really. Films, and you know, we didn't have the internet. And we didn't really have consoles, and the ones that we did have were shit. They were like the Ataris and that, you know what I mean? With the fucking two things. I'm really showing my age now. But the video shop, if anyone remembers them, the video shop was where we would go, and they would be, you know, before sort of like Blockbusters and all these big video stores, VHS tapes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when I say video, just for all you younger viewers. Well, there would be these little pop-up shops that were run by like quite dodgy geezers. You know what I mean? And like wheelers and dealer types, you know, and sort of like villainous types, like dodgy car dealers, you know. And I would go in these video shops. There was one around the corner for me called Sammy's in Hoxton. Yeah. And at like 4 or 5, I'd go in there, that young, and my mum, they'd just leave me in there. And I would just look at the titles, you know, and just look at all these wonderful covers. The covers were amazing, you know, and there'd be all these different sections. And probably as I got a bit older, like you, started to watch films that I probably shouldn't have been watching. And it was like, you know, they used to have pirates that would be, you know, like the illegal streamers of today.
Yeah.
You know,
we used to go Hackney to get them.
Got ya.
Hackney Market, Dagenham Market. Right. And I would go up there, buy 10 and only
like DVDs.
And only 2 of them would work.
See, these would be VHS tapes that had been copied over and over again, and just like terrible picture. Yeah. But you know, that's where I got my film education. A lot of it.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Like was in these video shops, and I'd spend hours, and it was the highlight of my life. You know, picking these films out, and that's when the acting thing really clicked for me, because like being sort of really an innocent kid who you know, you don't really understand how the world works at like 4 or 5 years old. I was like, well, if I'm an actor, I can be anything. Yeah, I can be like a fireman. I can be a policeman. I can be a crook. I could be anything. Yeah,
I've never thought of it in that sense.
It was that childlike logic that the idea of acting was first implanted in me at a young age.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go into the science of it now, right? Okay. So before going into it to earn money, because I'm very sure the road to where you are is not easy.
Yeah, it's still not easy.
Still not easy.
You know, an artist's life is a tough life. Yeah,
absolutely.
It can be difficult. Yeah.
So I want to try and get into your mind in the man I see in these films, to how this affects your life on an everyday. So could you explain to me just the basics for the viewers of how a film set works? You know, are you self-employed? How many hours a day do you do these scenes? Is it stressful when you're getting your lines wrong? These types of things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess let's break it down. I mean, like I've just come off a 3-day shoot, and like it was like 12, 13-hour days, man. Like really grueling. You know, like normally you work like 11 hours or so, but we was going over it every night, and it was just really, really tough shoot. But and it's tough. It's not so much frustrating with getting lines wrong, because you should know your lines, but it's more keeping the because this was really high energy. So look, when I was I got into acting very young, you know, but as a young kid, you're not really an actor. You're just a performer. You say the lines. You don't understand the craft. You might have a bit of a flair for saying the words believable, but you're not an actor really. You're a child performer. Yeah, you know. Yeah. But as you really start to learn about acting, and acting's like learning boxing or martial arts. You know?
Right. Okay.
You know, again, I'm no expert. It's just the way my take on stuff, you know. But it's like. You know, not everything works for everyone, so you have to find your own process that works for you see, but it's good to learn all the different processes and you know, and train and find out all the information that's out there to find what works for you. Absolutely. In the first place, and then also find your own stuff. You need to know everything in order to pick and choose what you like and what you don't like. So it's taken quite a long time to develop a process, and you're never finished, you know. You're always learning. You know, you're always learning, and so being for me, you know, I'm not good enough to just turn it on and off as an actor. So I've made mistakes in the past where I've treated it a bit like a jolly up. you know.
Yeah, you're just going to turn up and
I'm acting and I'm saying and I'm thinking in my head that I can do this really easily, and then we cut and I'm having conversations
and then back at it,
and then I'm trying to get back into like a and you know, I worked. In fact, it was like working with Ophelia Lovibond actually on Turnout.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Underrated classic. In my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
And sorry to cut you. I want to go in depth about that.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely talk about that. I've got a lot to say about it, obviously, but yeah, like to cut a long story short, you know, I'd gone off the rails for most of my 20s, and it wasn't until like my early 30s, 30 onwards, I started really taking acting seriously again.
Okay.
And Turnout was very early on in that time period.
Oh, so was you in your 20s at that point?
No, I was in my I was in my early 30s when I made Turnout.
Right. Okay.
And so I wasn't really treating acting like I didn't know the craft. I didn't have a craft. Didn't have a process really. You know, and I remember doing the scene with her where she's where we're breaking up, and because the character was sort of semi-autobiographical based on my experiences growing up in Hoxton.
Because you played that part so well. As a man who knows how people act when you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It was blowing my mind.
But there was an arrogance to that performance because it was so close to me. I thought I can piss this, I can do this easy, you know. And that scene where we're breaking up, it irks me to this day because when we cut, she would be crying her eyes out in a corner. Yeah. And I'd be with my mates and my mate, the director, and my other mate, Franny, and I'm laughing and giggling, and then when it's time to act again, I'm acting, I'm pretending to be sad. You can see it. She's there.
She's
there, mate. She is heartbroken. She's crying.
She's immersed.
She's breaking up with her boyfriend, and I wasn't. And I learnt a lot from her. Just, you know, that one thing. And so to stay in the moment, to try and be in the moment, to keep it real, that is for me where all art is.
Absolutely.
All art is created in the present moment, you know. It's all about that intuition. So you can learn your lines and know them fucking back to front, right? But, you know, that's even like, that can be really counterintuitive because they can be very mechanical. It's actually the little things that happen in the moment, the stuff that feels new, that's the real magic of acting. So that's the toughest part of it, trying to keep it fresh, keep it real, keep it in the moment. And you know, and I'm trying to do that, you know. I would say one thing, Marlon Brando, I can't remember what film it was, like On the Waterfront or Streetcar Named Desire.
Apocalypse Now?
No, it wasn't that film, but that's one of his all-time, one of my favourite films.
Wicked.
It was one of his earlier performances, I think, classic performances, and someone said, "Oh, you were great, you know, you were amazing," and he said, "Oh, I was in and out." And I get that.
Now you get it.
Because you're in and out of that present moment.
Because that's me as a consumer.
Yeah.
I'm one reason that I fell in love with that genre, as you can see here.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna go through them.
Sure.
Right. Is obviously it's close to home. My friendships, my life, what I get up to, what they get up to.
Yeah.
And your performance in Turnout, to me, was such a refreshing period because there was an influx of these films coming, some very bad ones as well. Yeah. And I feel like this one came about as someone who always searches independent films.
Right.
I actually can't tell you how I came across Turnout.
Okay.
I don't feel
probably got it off that geezer.
When I was in the pub, you used to get the geezer come round. So I don't know how this got marketed to me, but I just remember the Ray-Bans, the red polo. I'm thinking, okay, this has got to be a bit of me.
Right.
And I think that Plan B might have been on the front cover. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But that is what got me to it. And then obviously I hadn't seen you before.
Right.
And you had the main part.
Yeah.
You played, I feel, obviously you're going to be very self-destructive in what you see.
Okay.
I feel you played a man who loves his woman.
Yeah.
But is so influenced by the getting on it, by the serving up, but a terrible dealer.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah.
Which many blokes try to do.
Yeah.
There was every part of that film, like even the part where you come in, they're all playing PlayStation, still getting on it. And you're like, well, Jesus, where's the
Exactly,
where's the dough? Yeah. Next week. Just the way you played these things, I'm like, is this even acting? And that, to me, is key.
Yeah.
So it's hard to hear you say, like, you're in and out, because then it makes me sit here and think, can actors literally just, are they normal? How can he do this and just create this person and it be so believable?
Well, like I say, like Turnout, if you want me to tell you a little bit about the film.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I met the guy that directed it, Lee Sales, years ago when I was about 21, 22 maybe, and he was casting for a film and he wanted me for the lead in his film. Okay. But that project fell through, but he sort of like stuck by me being the lead. Okay. And from what I can remember, it was the reason the film fell through was because he found his lead and he wanted to stick with me, and the producers, the money people, weren't interested. Anyway,
in you,
in me, yeah, they wanted a name, you know.
Okay,
and I wasn't, and so, but me and him kept our friendship, you know, and we just started writing stuff together. And so in the first version of Turnout, we George, the character George, is watching, who I play, is watching TV, and Kilroy is on the TV. Now, I don't know if you remember Kilroy. This is how long ago we wrote that first draft, right? Kilroy then went to Trisha. Remember Trisha?
Yeah.
Trisha then went to Jeremy Kyle.
Right.
So Kilroy was like that. So through the different incarnations of the script, we had to keep making it more up to date.
More up to date, yeah.
But if we would have brought that film out when we originally wrote it,
yeah,
all those years ago, it was before Kid Altered.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been one of the first. You know, but we kept trying to get it made, and eventually we did. You know, a lot later than. But a lot of that was due to me, I think, running about in my 20s, not really focused on filmmaking.
Of course.
Doing what George is doing research for the film, basically.
Yeah.
And if I would have written that film a lot later, it would have been a lot darker.
Yeah.
Because the consequences would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
You know, and I think things got a lot darker for me after the Turnout ended, if you get what I mean.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and I don't think that film would have got made conventionally, because it's not. There's no one gets killed in it. It's a love story. The stakes are really low. It's just an ounce of gear. It's not kilos of gear. There's no geezers in Range Rovers.
Mate,
you know what I'm saying?
But that was why it was special, because it was so normal. But it had all great performances.
Yeah, so we wanted to make a kitchen sink drama in the vein of the films that we were interested in.
Yeah.
Just straight up drama, which producers hate. I don't like the drama word.
Why is that?
Because it's such a low return.
Okay.
You don't get your money back.
Okay.
You know, they want a big,
big
or high stake gangster heist things, that because people want to watch that stuff. You know.
Yeah.
People are less inclined to watch a low key drama.
Okay.
That's what we were interested in. You know, like the films of the 70s and the real great movies by the great directors that, you know, and even great British directors like Ken Loach and Mike Leigh, you know. Alan Parker, you know, all these Alan Clarke, all these sort of like kitchen sink filmmakers. We tried to make it in the vein of that, and we made it, and we got loads of distribution offers. And the reason why you said it's underrated, it is because no one really saw it.
Yeah.
No one saw it, and the reason was we went with a big company at the time called Revolver Entertainment. So loads of people.
I mean, is that the blue sign?
Yeah. So loads of people, loads of production companies, distribution companies made an offer for Turnout, which is amazing to make an independent film, because you make it independently, then you've got to sell it.
Yeah.
And so the two companies that were the most viable were Revolver and Vertigo. And we should have gone with Vertigo because they're a great company.
And they were massive at the time.
They're still going, mate. Still going. They did the business and...
From the factory.
Yeah, exactly. And they're still going. And we went with Revolver, that were just churning out films. They didn't really care about it. They promised us the world. And it was, they pushed it for a week or so, and then they just buried it.
But again, it had good names in it. You know, it had I always forget his name.
Neil Maskell.
Yes, Neil Maskell, who did Film Factory,
Yeah,
Killzone.
great actor.
Bonded by
actor.
Blood.
And another great actor called
yeah.
Peter Ferdinando, I think is one of the best actors in the country, as well as Neil.
Is he the bigger geezer?
No, that's
the angry one.
No, that's actually one of my best mates.
He was great in that,
called
man.
Neil Large, and he's my schoolmate.
Oh, right,
and he'd
okay.
never acted before in his life.
Was that his first one?
Yeah. So we wrote that for him because it's him.
He's the one who, you know, the guy owes money and he's going, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But he's in something else as well.
Yeah, Ill Manners. So he got Ill Manners.
That's it, Ill Manners.
So he met Ben Drew on Turnout and got Ill Manners.
See, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He did amazing in
Everyone
that as well.
says it's amazing because this week I've had 3 people telling me how big a fan they are of Neil's. And but he doesn't really act anymore because he's got like 2 kids and he's sort of put it on the back burner. Anything I do, if something for him, I'll get him involved. But it's a shame because I think he could have gone on and really done, you know.
Because he was
really
dipping into so many different styles of film as well. Like he did like a short thing where he was on, I can't remember it now, but he was on a date.
Okay.
Did you see it with the woman? And then in the end he ends up killing. Anyway,
I want to see it.
I won't. But it was pushing up the levels.
Yeah.
But now let's go back to yourself.
So just one thing, and the reason why we used all our real names, why he's Largy and thing, is because we wanted to use a lot of non-actors and our friends in it.
Okay.
And when we'd done little projects before with non-actors, and I'd use a different name, they would just keep calling me George.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's why we kept all our names. So
that it felt just a little bit more real
so
as well.
Like people would just be in the zone and not call me, you know, keep calling me my real name instead of my...
But that must be weird because obviously, do you feel like most people recognise you from that film?
Yeah, that I get a lot of love from that film because it resonates with people because a lot of people lived that life or know people that lived it because it was so true to life, you know.
Absolutely.
Like people really like it. Strikes a chord. And it's the same thing like with the acting about being in the moment. People know when they're being lied to.
Yes.
Like people know when they're being lied to.
Yes.
That's why people like Scorsese make such good films about
Different
the mafia
level.
because they know their subject matter and they're not pretending. You feel like even though you've never been in the mafia,
you are there.
You're there, and you know you're being told the truth. And it's the same with acting and everything. You just know that there's an element of reality that you can't get from either like really extensive research or experience. You know, so
Bonded by Blood 2.
Yeah.
What is it like watching yourself be that type of character?
Well, they're great fun. You know, those playing baddies.
Because he's a nasty piece of work in that one, isn't he?
But even that, even though I knew it wasn't like going to be the best film in the world, if I was going to be in it, I was going to give it my all. I can't not give it everything.
No, absolutely. And again, well done on that.
And I'm going to try and be the best I can, the best I can in it. And I wanted to give him some layers.
Okay.
So that's why I tried to give him like humour and make him funny.
Yeah.
You know, and give him so he's not just a one-dimensional bad guy.
Yeah.
He's got some humour to him, you know. And that's the first time I met the director, Greg Hall.
Okay.
Who then me and him went on to become good friends and business partners. We started a little company together.
Wicked.
And he co-wrote Villain with me that just come out last year.
So did you produce that yourself as well?
Well, I was a producer on it, but I wrote it.
Okay.
And with Greg, and then we've got a short coming out that we're like this really powerful short, man. It's just been entered in some festivals called Baby Boy, and then we wrote another short called Smackhead. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I saw it on your Instagram.
Yeah, I mean maybe you can put some links up and they can watch it.
No, absolutely. At the end of all these episodes, you know, we put all your details up, even on my social media and stuff. So
and you know, I'm not worried about plugging stuff. Art is meant to be seen, man.
Absolutely.
That's the same. That's why Turnout is such a shame because art is meant to be seen. You know, people. That's all it's about. People seeing art, making art, and people seeing it and experiencing it.
But it's hard because every time I tell my mates who love all these types of films, they don't know where to see it, and you know what blokes are like. They just want to just be there in front of them. Now. I remember a few years ago I tried to get it on eBay.
Right. Which one are we talking about?
Sorry, Turnout.
Turnout.
So it's like
hard to get now, I think.
So it's one of those things where it's like people just want accessibility quickly now. So you was working with Danny Dyer.
Yeah.
On Bonded by Blood 2.
No, Danny Dyer wasn't in that actually.
Wasn't she?
No, oh, young Danny, yeah. I thought you meant her
Sorry,
dad.
the daughter.
Yeah, young Danny, yeah.
I was going.
To be fair, though, it's easy to get confused, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've got a very similar name, haven't they? So
I was thinking.
Yeah, I worked with
like,
Danny.
I'm sure that's her.
Yeah, I worked with Danny. Yeah.
And that was. She's been in others, but I think that was the one performance that I saw.
Like she's become a reality star more, hasn't she? And she's flourished in that sort of.
But I mean, at the minute there's some stuff in the media about her partner being found guilty of basically accessing money from older people.
What I would like with menace sort of thing, extortion
in it, and he's gone guilty, and obviously she's put out that she's going to stick by him, and so on and so forth. So I mean, as someone who's worked alongside her, you know, is it quite hard to sort of see her to have to be blown up into this sort of world and
to be
have
honest,
to deal with that situation?
I've not seen it because I don't really watch the news ever.
Okay.
Especially this year since the COVID stuff come about. You know, it was just death.
Too
And,
much,
you know,
man.
and like I think like being an artist or just being a sensitive person, naturally you take a lot of that on. I think everyone does anyway.
Absolutely.
Fear is no good for the system.
No, it's not. And watching all of that every day definitely isn't good.
So I never watched news before that anyway, and then since then I've just give it a complete wide berth. So I've not seen being dragged through the media or anything like that, but yeah, I mean it must be tough.
Yeah, definitely.
But I guess you've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you?
If that's the lifestyle you want,
if you want to be a celebrity and famous and get all that comes with that, then you've got to take the. It's like reviews, right? If you want to, I've got a good friend of mine who's a musician and he's a successful musician, and he always said to me, you know, reviews, don't read into the good ones. Or don't read into the bad ones, because if you buy into the good ones, then you've got to buy into the bad ones.
Yeah, you have to do both.
And the bad ones, for me, the only ones I fucking remember. I don't remember the good ones. It's the bad ones that stay with you, you know. So
because as such a film buff, like I always go to IMDb. You know, I watch a film and not to get influenced. I just like to as a community to see what people are thinking, see if they're thinking the same as me, and some people can articulate.
So you read the reviews?
Yeah, sometimes, What is that process like for you?
Well, you know,
because you can't say you just don't.
I'm not gonna lie, I like good reviews, but like, you know, sometimes I'll read stuff and it like I said, that's the negative stuff is the stuff I hang on to. So it's hard to hear someone talk, especially like Turnout, because people pigeonhole. It's tough being a working class actor, you know. Like,
of course.
And you get pigeonholed. You know, I don't think the likes of Guy Ritchie have done us any favours. And then since then, there's been a slew of really bad British gangster films. You know, like real crap. There's obviously some good ones, but most of them are real shit.
Yeah.
And
they all came
so
together.
It's hard to be taken serious as a working class actor, especially like. You know, like people like Mike Leigh and Ken Loach, they're like middle class people making films about the working class. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, but when working class people make films about themselves, you know, there's just not many good ones in the first place because not many working class people are in that position. But Turnout, I like to think, is an honest film about working class people, made by working class people.
Absolutely.
And it's often like pigeonholed with the shit, you know.
Well, I think with Turnout, it gave me at the time because we're talking
2011.
Yeah, I was at university then, so still a long time ago, nearly a decade. So it reminded me of when I watched Kneel by Mouth for the first time.
Well, that's the best British film ever made, in my opinion.
That absolutely blew my.
And funnily enough, it's another work. It's not many, but that's a working class film made by a working class guy, mate, which is a rarity.
And that film. And this is not me just saying this because you're here.
Yeah. Go on.
It is funny because when I do get... This is what the birth of this podcast has done so many crazy things for me.
Yeah.
Only years ago, I'm watching your film and now you're sitting in my dining room.
It does surreal.
It does surreal me out a little bit. But what I'm saying is like, it gave me those feels.
Yeah.
Like that it will forever be a film I will tell people to watch.
Mate,
go watch this film. Watch this film.
Like I said, I think it's the best British film ever made, hands down. And it's the same thing. It's an insight. You know you're not being lied to. It's like Gary Oldman's just going. Bleh. He's never made a film since. It's him going. You know, it's real because he's lived it. He's lived it. There's no making it up. There's no like cliche of what he thinks.
It is
what
as
he
raw
thinks.
as you can get.
These people that write these fucking films, they've never even met a gangster, let alone know what they do and get up to.
Exactly.
So they just go for the cliche. Birds with, all the birds are like stereotypical, no character, no layers. Just all, one-dimensional, and it's just this idea of what they think these gangsters are.
But again, you need some fantastic actors and actresses to do so, though.
Well, you need a good script on.
Okay.
That's the fucking problem. First of all, you can't do anything without a good script. You can't polish a turd.
Okay.
And without the script is the real work of art. Without that, you got no chance.
Absolutely, because people, it's funny because I read probably a book I read quite fast as well.
Okay.
Probably every 2 to 3 weeks, I read a book. And it's funny, my mates, they always have this joke with me is, I bet the book was better. Because I always, when they say a film, I'll be like, read that.
Right.
But they're like, oh, there's a book. I'm like, nearly 99% of these films are made from a book.
A lot of them are, yeah.
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
So, okay, what are the highlights for you that you're like, nah, this ain't it? Like, when you read a script.
I guess it's like bad dialogue, cliche, characters with no layer, loads of exposition, just poor script writing. As the years gone by, since Turnout, I've written quite a lot.
Okay.
And I've got better at it. But it's taken me a long time. But I finally feel like I'm just getting quite, all right at it. So I know when something's not right now.
Okay. And fine.
But it's just cliche mainly. Just and I've been sent a lot of shit as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's written by people that just got no experience of what they're writing, really.
And finally, so for example, because Rise of the Foot Soldier Origins.
Yeah.
That hasn't come out yet.
Not come out yet.
Okay, so Terry Stone has directed that one?
Terry Stone produced it. Nick Niven directed it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, right. So, when you've seen obviously how many Rise of the Foot Soldiers have been made and so on, like, what gave you the impression? Okay, do you know what? This is going to be different because I feel this one's going to be. I obviously haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But there's a different
vibe
feel and vibe at the way this one's being marketed, and even the actors that are in this is already. I mean, you have Vinnie Jones, Fairbrass, isn't it? Again?
Yeah, he's in it a little bit. Yeah.
Terry Stone, etc.
Yeah.
These faces yourself.
Yeah.
You look
Bronson
at it and you're
Webb,
thinking,
who's
wow.
another great actor. Tom Padley, Jessica, Kirsty J. Curtis, Katie Jarvis, who's from Fish Tank, and she did a bit in EastEnders, but
Fish Tank was great.
Fish Tank's a great.
That was great.
Wicked film, amazing. She's in that. She's amazing in that, and Keith Allen as well. Lily Allen's dad's in it.
Yep.
They've got some good actors, and there's loads of other people in it.
That sounds expensive.
But it's got a good cast, and I've never worked with Andy Loveday before, and they offered me this great part, and they said that they let me sort of have fun with it, and do really bring my own things to the table with the part, because it's not based on anyone in particular. So I had free reign to create this character. So that's what I did, and I know there's been loads of them, but they were treating this one really serious.
Yeah, definitely.
Trying to go back to the original, which is a deep, really good film.
That's one of my favourites.
A really good film. And, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun. They said all your scenes are with Vinnie Jones. I thought, how can it? You can't not do it. And it's a great opportunity, and I really, appreciate it. And Roland Manoukian as well. Josh, my good mate Josh. How could I forget Josh? Yeah.
He was just on the Marvin Herbert.
He was, yeah, exactly. He was great on that. I watched that.
Yeah, man.
Me and Josh we've been in 4 films together.
Okay.
And so we've got to know each other really well, and he's a good mate of mine. I love him to bits.
But I think that's the beauty of, again, taking your talent seriously and just really being serious about it, because obviously, thank God that you're in recovery and you was able to get away from what you was in before.
Yeah.
Because God knows you wouldn't be doing the movements, the writing, the performance. Like, me and you both know that everyone can maybe coast while they're doing that for a while.
Yeah.
It will fuck you.
Well, I couldn't function. I come to a complete standstill. I just couldn't function like other people can. I wasn't a functioning addict.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
It just ground me to a complete halt, and there was nothing happening for me, and I was going nowhere, and I felt like my life was sort of over.
Okay.
And then I came in, you know, I got into sort of like recovery, and you know, and my life just took off and turned around amazingly.
Well, guys, let's give him another clap for that.
I'd like to take the credit but I didn't. It was in fact like the complete opposite. I got introduced to a group of people that showed me a way of living, and it was through like absolute, like sort of like a surrender in a way.
Okay.
This process that I went through, and it changed my life. You know, it changed my life. So I couldn't stop.
You couldn't just do it by yourself.
I got help. Yeah, and there's a lot of help out there.
And guys,
if anyone's interested in help, get in touch with me on social media, and I'll show you, point you in the right direction. I'll be happy to.
Everyone watching, anyone struggling, and I know there's many of you. Trust me when I say that. You don't have to do it alone.
No.
You do not have to do it alone.
Yeah.
Please get help. There's so much help around. Listen to the success that George is today, and he's always been, but you're not always going to be George. There may be a point where you can't get over this. So just please take these words very literally. Please get some help. If you want to contact my social media, if you want to speak to me, or you want to speak to George and so on and so forth about these things, I'm sure George wouldn't mind taking the time out.
Yeah, especially when it comes to drugs. I've got a little bit of experience around it. So yeah, anything else, relationship advice, don't ask me. Don't ask me. I'm the last one you want to ask.
Well, look,
I'm clinging on to my relationship like that.
Well, you know, you say 2 beautiful daughters?
No, well, I've got a son, a stepson. He's 23 now.
Okay.
And I've got a daughter. She's 9.
Amazing.
I've been with my partner for like 15 years. You know.
Really? So, have you? Okay. Yeah, she stuck by you and everything, so that's amazing as well.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for it.
It's give and take. I've stuck by her as well, you know.
I'm
still
looking
for
all
the credit.
So look, lastly, we're gonna have a bit of fun just before we leave.
All right. Oh, that went quick. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we've been nearly an hour already.
Really? That's flown.
I told you, mate. I told you.
Shut up, do I?
No, but mate, listen. Again, it's just so bizarre for me to be able to meet you and speak to you not acting.
Right.
It's quite a weird thing for me because again, I've not really sat down and spoke to a professional actor. So look, for fun.
Go on.
I'm gonna say these DVDs here. Yeah?
Oh, go on.
I'm gonna say these
I'll have
DVDs.
to be really kind. Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to, and we're gonna say what your top, let's say 6.
Okay.
Ones that
these movies. Right. I can see.
So I'm gonna say them for the people listening. So we've got ID. People, this is slept on. Have you seen ID?
No, of course I have. Yeah.
ID, in my opinion, was the first football hooligan film.
Yeah, it was. One of them. Yeah, definitely.
That's one. We got Outlaw, which was iffy.
Yeah. The Firm is the one. You've seen The Firm with Gary Oldman. That's the one.
Wicked, but I don't have.
But that's a good film.
I don't have all of these on DVD. But before you came, I thought, let me get all of these. I've got about.
I noticed you ain't got your Turnout one because it's a bootleg copy. He bought it off the geezer on the corner in Hackney. He told me already.
£3. I'm sorry. I'll give you the £3 as well.
All right, you're
so we got Outlaw. That's Sean Bean, where he comes back home from the army.
That's Nick Love, right? A Nick Love film.
Is it Nick?
Yeah.
Yes, it is Nick Love. Yeah, see, I thought this was underrated as well.
Yeah. I like my mate Nick Nevin's in that.
Nick Nevin, Danny Dyer.
Yeah.
St. George's Day.
Yeah, Craig Fairbrass and
I really like that one as well.
Yeah. Loads of people I know are in that.
We've got Bronson.
Wow, this is a classic.
You got Layer Cake.
Yeah.
The Football Factory, personal favourite. I just love it. I love it.
Film. My mate Neil in that, he's brilliant in that.
I love that film, man. It's all gone Pete Tong.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot of people have seen this.
Is that where he goes deaf?
Yes, that's when he goes deaf. DJ and Ibiza. Rise of the Foot Soldier, which is in my top 5.
Cool.
Love, Honor and Obey.
Yeah, classic.
People haven't seen this.
Oh man, this is classic. Yeah, you see that? Where is he? Oh, he ain't on the front. One of my closest, a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
You know, we met about 3-4 years ago, and we become really, really good friends. Perry Benson.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the guy. I forget what's his name. Fat Alan, who gets stabbed. Oh, it's really hard.
In ID.
With the glasses. No, in this.
He's in ID as well, though.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's in that.
He's a copper in ID.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's in this, and he's
he actually looks the same.
And Ray Burdiss, and what a cast. Fucking hell,
this film was just...
And it cost you 40 million to make that film now with that cast, wasn't
it? Because he was in Trainspotting.
Yeah, that's right.
Trainspotting. Cass.
Yeah.
Wicked film. Human Traffic. Wicked.
Yeah, wicked film.
Underrated film, I think.
That's the film I think Danny Dyer...
That's what broke him, I think.
Broke him,
absolutely, when he was young.
He's brilliant in it.
The Business, wicked.
Yeah, and I actually did a series with John Sim when I was a kid.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, called Oasis. It was this
little
children's series, and he was in it.
But you did something. You did Holby City.
Yeah, as a kid. Yeah.
Mate, to me, I just think it's funny how you sort of take it on board me speaking about it, because it's like that's an amazing life that you've had so far.
I guess so.
And it's only going to get better for you.
I suppose it's just been my life, so it don't seem any different.
Yeah, until someone sits here and starts telling you.
Yeah. I think the stuff in between the acting has been the more interesting stuff, because that's real life, you know.
Yeah, yeah, you get to escape, I guess. Yeah, when you're so Clubbed, which is underrated.
Let me see this. I don't think I've actually seen this.
That is wicked.
This I haven't seen.
Have you seen the Scouser film, The Crew?
No, I haven't
with
seen
Stephen.
that. My dad said to watch that.
Stephen Graham.
My dad said to watch that. So this is good, yeah.
Wicked film.
What year is this? 2009.
It's early doors. The Firm, the remake.
Yeah, decent.
Essex Boys.
What one is that?
That was the original.
Oh yeah, this is their first one.
First one. The geezer that was in
Charlie Creed.
Neil by Mouth was in that one.
Mate of mine, Charlie. Yeah.
He was in, and he's in the fighting film on Netflix at the minute.
Oh, Wild Bill. Yeah.
Wild Bill. City Rats. I'm not gonna lie, this is bad.
I'm glad you said it. I haven't seen it, but
this is bad.
I'm glad you said it.
But I was obsessed. I was obsessed when I was young, getting all of them from. I used to go Tesco.
Yeah.
I would always go in Tesco. And my mate would go, "You're slipping off to see what's on offer over there."
Well, good on you for supporting the British film scene.
Always,
man.
you see my music, everything. I always buy it. I always buy it.
Great.
Green Street, which I don't care what people say. I watched again the other day.
You see this guy here?
Yeah.
It's Franny in it from Turnout. Franny, that's my best mate.
And you was in number 3, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in number 3. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
We won't go
I
into
don't
it.
think you've missed much there, Dom. But it was interesting because through that I did a film called I Am Soldier, because I met that it was the same.
I Am Soldier. I know I Am Soldier.
Yeah, that was with Noel Clarke, who's been in the media a lot.
Sorry, I Am Soldier.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was just ringing a bell.
Yeah, and Josh is in it, and I forgot his bloody name. He's gonna kill me. What's his name? Tom, he plays Prince Albert on TV at the moment in the big show, The Royals. Tom, I only film with him for about a month, 6 weeks. Anyway,
he'll forgive you.
I'm getting old. Yeah.
So
Tom Hughes.
Noel Clarke. I mean, how was your experience with him? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, to me, he's really cordial, a nice guy, and we connected on that film and got to know each other. From where I sat, I didn't see anything, so
Yeah, I think the hard thing about this situation is sometimes it's a bit too textbook. As someone who understands the media and is on social media, and it just what I don't like is it's like now everyone, any footage they see of him doing anything which is attached to the allegations, it's they hold more weight. But 3 weeks ago, they would show them and they wouldn't.
Of course they would,
So I don't like that side of things. And again, until more facts are out, there's investigation, and someone's actually...
I mean, the thing is, it's like, there's probably... There in the middle lies the truth. That's what I always believe.
Three sides to every story.
Exactly, but it's you're going to have polarised opinions of what people are saying, and somewhere in the middle, there's the truth.
Do you feel Ashley Waters should have jumped out there so quick and just put him under the rug?
I don't know. What did he do? I don't know.
So literally 4 days, probably 4 days after these allegations, he's written a statement, posted it on his social media.
Distancing himself from him.
Completely distanced.
No way.
Completely.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Gone. Basically, don't condone any of it.
I didn't know that. So personally, I don't want to wade in on it. I don't really want to wade in on that.
Yeah. Because
I know Noel, I know Jason, and it's
Jason Mazza.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a shame. It's a shame all round because they were really working towards something, and now that it's all ruined for them. And it's obviously a shame for the girls,
for the women, yeah.
Because the fact that 20 people would get together and conspire,
yeah,
and say that, and there's probably more people coming out now, is there?
Well,
I read the Guardian article, right, and there was over 20 women.
And
I don't think that 20 women would get together and all conspire to say that it wasn't true. So
all the pictures
there's no smoke
now
without fire, is there?
There's all pictures out as well. And I just think in this situation, people need to kind of slow down a bit on what they believe.
You're saying like trial by media you're talking about, I guess,
right? The court of public opinion, because of course these things happen to women. We have to believe them and try and get to the bottom of these things.
I've got a daughter, and I don't want anyone rubbing up and grabbing her or bullying her.
There you go.
Or a son, or my stepson. He's a delicate soul, and you don't want anyone bullying him either. So. If he's done these things, then there should be repercussions, yeah.
Absolutely,
and that's it,
absolutely.
And you've got to conduct yourself in the right way. You can't go around doing this sort of stuff.
No, and I just hope it's a lesson to anyone watching that, like, however big you are, or powerful, or good looking, or that your day will come if you do these things.
There's definitely been a culture of that in the past, and people have got away with it, but you cannot get away with it.
But it will go on forever.
Yeah.
These people in these chairs, women do it too.
Yeah.
They will abuse their power at points because they're probably still learning about how powerful they are.
And if you've got skeletons in your closet,
they're coming.
And you're doing shit, and then you get to the heights that Noel's at, they're coming out, mate.
They're coming
out.
And they're coming harder. So finally,
go on.
Okay, that one
Which one's that?
That was The Fall of the Essex Boys, which was literally
the
fall, because that one you just don't want to waste your time.
Okay.
But Lock, Stock. So for me, I'm gonna say my top 5 of these films altogether is Lock, Stock.
You talking about the ones here?
Well, I'm just gonna say all together, but I just wanted to show you some of these to get your mind flowing.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll tell you my top 5. So Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
The Football Factory. Rise of the Foot Soldier. Oh, I need more space. The Business.
How many are we picking here?
I'm going to guess, let's put 6 in.
We'll
put 6 so I can stick Nil by Mouth in there. Nil by Mouth and ID. So I'll say mine again. Lock, Stock, Football Factory, The Business, Nil by Mouth, ID, and I can't remember the other one.
Turnout.
No, it's in my top 10.
You better be.
And I'm not even lying to you.
All right,
but top 6 is a hard one.
Yeah.
So what about yourself? What would you say your top 6?
So first I'll do my top 6 and then I'll pick some from here, right?
All right, yeah, go on.
I'd like to do that.
Go on.
So I would say the sort of gangster genre films, you've got to say The Long Good Friday.
Long Good Friday?
Yeah. Performance.
Don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, with Mick Jagger.
No, I've not seen that.
Oh, mate, it's like, it's Nicholas Roeg and Donald Cammell.
What I love about you is you know your films deep.
Yeah. Well, I did a play that was loosely based on it, but it's like a really unorthodox sort of left field gangster film.
Okay.
Like an unusual one.
Performance.
Okay. So what we got Longer Friday Performance. Quadrophenia, if that goes there. That go count?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen it.
Quadrophenia, my God, you've not seen Quadrophenia?
Josh,
mate, you need to watch Quadrophenia.
Is it good?
Oh my God, it's amazing.
I'm being schooled there, I'm sorry.
Yeah, McVicker?
No.
McVicker?
No, I know what McVicker is, but I've not seen
Scum?
it. Scum I've seen.
Scum? Alright, we're running out. And what's the other one? What other one can we choose? I suppose I'll pick a contemporary one. I've got to say Sexy Beast.
Sexy Beast.
Yeah,
they'd
be my 6 probably. I could pick a few more, but there's not many really brilliant, amazing gangster films.
Okay.
But out of the ones that out of here, I would definitely say, first of all, I've got to pick this one. I'll tell you why.
Green Street was so underrated.
What? Yeah, but my boy's in it. My boy, it's my brother there.
Underrated film, man.
Franny Pope. That's my brother there.
They did so well in that film at the time. Because when I look back at it, I watched it recently because it came up again on Netflix, and I was like, This was so well produced.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a big budget film. Like when Fran got that, it was like major.
It's major.
You know? I mean, and he gets a bad rap for his accent.
His accent was bad.
That was the thing that let it down.
It was
but
bad. Sons of Anarchy.
But as an actor, he's a fucking brilliant
Great actor, great actor.
It's just the accent.
That accent
the
really
accent
was not good.
The accent done him.
Even me being young, I was like, something ain't right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So but this one, I'll pick that. I'll pick. Yeah, you got to go for this film because
I'm sorry, that is powerful.
it stands up as a film and it's great. And when Craig comes in it, man, he just blows the doors off. And when I first saw him in it, I thought, wow.
And Terry.
He nicked the film. Terry's great in it. You know, Ricky, who's obviously he's in Turnout, isn't he? Ricky.
Ricky was in the 28 Days Later as well, wasn't
right.
he?
Yeah, he's one of the soldiers, isn't he?
Yeah, that film is unbelievable.
But this was just a good film.
Good
you know,
film, man.
You know, I like that film. Let's just have a look now. What else we got? That's good. Let's put that aside. Lots. That's what I was looking for. I'll tell you why, because Nick Moran is a very good friend of mine.
Okay.
And I just worked with Vinny, but more than that. My uncle Lenny McLean, well, he's like my mum's first cousin, but we all called him Uncle Lenny.
He was in the film.
This
as well.
is where he made it, so he's there on the back. He made it, and it was just great.
He was great in that film.
I mean, this is a landmark film, innit? No matter what way you look at it.
Man, it gets me like nostalgic sometimes because it's like.
Frank
do we have any of this
Harper's
anymore?
really good in it. And,
They're all good in it, all of them.
Yeah.
And it just annoys me that it's like, do we get these things anymore? You know, and like, is there a room for the independent films that we love?
Yeah.
Like, do people give it the time of day anymore? Is the audience? They just want everything now. Clickbait.
Yeah.
Clout.
That's right. Yeah.
And it does get to me sometimes.
And I'll tell you who else is great in this. Who's in Nil by Mouth? Steve Sweeney. You know, with a gruff voice, little Steve Sweeney, who plays.
Yeah.
And he's a fucking great actor.
He's in Nil by Mouth as well.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
With the curly hair, yeah?
Yeah, man, fucking brilliant actor. And he's
great actor.
He's in it. And Nick Moran, you talk about underrated actors, you see Nick Moran.
Yeah.
All those Jason Statham.
God, he's gone.
Fletcher, what's his name? Dexter Fletcher. You're
good with the names as well, aren't you?
Jason Fleming, they all went on to do anything.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Nick Moran is a fucking brilliant actor. And I like... He hasn't gone on like they have, but he should have done. Probably he should have gone on more than they have, because I've worked with him a couple of times, and he directed me in a play, and he's just a proper actor, mate.
Yeah, man.
You know, and massively underrated, and hopefully, as he sort of goes on, comes into like he's sort of like more older, mature years. Don't want don't want him to get upset with me, but like people will realise what a talent he is. You know, he really is. Okay, next one. Let's go. So we've got 3. I've got to pick another 3. Bronson,
was wicked.
what a great central performance, man. Like, and not only that, it's Nicholas Winding Refn, who is Danish and just has that different take on it. So he's not coming from like the British.
And it was from A Clockwork Orange, right?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Was it produced by?
No, he's saying A Clockwork Orange for the 21st century, I guess.
Oh, do you know
because it's such an unusual
I always
film.
felt like there was some sort of production from Clockwork Orange.
No, but it is that kind of weird.
Yeah,
it's very weird and like it's a
just
very...
even like the juxtaposition of like the classical music with the weird imagery.
It's a completely fresh art house take on it, and it was just nothing like that was ever been done before. And his performance, and low budget film, by the way, really low budget film, but just a brilliant performance. Okay, for Love Her and Obey.
That was the one in my top 6 as well.
Because my man Perry Benson and Ray Burdiss, brilliant film. The Business, you've got to go to Business. I'll tell you why.
They did so well with that.
I mean, it's just not another film like that really. The subject matter and what Nick did with it, you know.
What's the ginger guy's name?
Jeff Bell.
He's a great actor.
Brilliant actor.
Great actor.
Massively underrated.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is though. He's like, you'd like to see him in more, but
you'd like to see him in more.
Just whatever he does, he's just believable and brilliant. And in that, he's just great.
Yeah,
great.
man.
And that's a great film. How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it.
Wicked,
I would have picked a couple more. Also, as well, another film.
I've got tons more up there.
Hyena.
No,
you
I've
ever
not
seen
that.
Hyena? Great film. Gerard Johnson and Peter Ferdinando. Go on.
So, what was the beginning with Pete that you said I got to watch?
What is it? Quadrophenia.
And Predator, was it?
No, Predator.
No, not Predator, sorry. What was beginning? It was Quadrophenia and beginning with P. You said something in the top 5.
Oh, performance.
Performance.
Yeah.
So Quadrophenia.
And McVicker.
McVicar.
You never seen McVicar?
No.
Oh God, what a film! True story as well. Brilliant.
It's
film.
bad. I've probably been showing up here as well. and you know what's funny is I'm usually the one schooling people about films all the time.
Right.
So
well, you've got to see them because you've got to do you got to go back to school and get your degree and finish off your masters.
Yeah. George. Well, listen, guys. Look, it's been a pleasure. Let's give him another clap. Guys.
Thank you.
Listen, guys, we're going to put all of George's details at the end of this episode. Is there anything lastly you'd like to say?
No, I don't think there is. You know, I think I've probably gone on a bit too much, and people are probably sick of listening to my voice. I'd like to say thank you to you for having me and being interested. You know,
don't be silly. Anytime, and we're gonna hopefully get all the new films that you've got produced by you.
Yeah.
You know, we've got the Rise of the Foot Soldier Origins.
Yeah, that's coming out soon. We've got our little short baby boy that's just about to do festivals. Got really high hopes for that, and I've got about 5 or 6 scripts all floating about. We just got Villain just dropped.
Yes.
And that's a really...
Amazon Prime?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. At the moment, on IMDb, they've got the American poster, and it's terrible. But Craig Fairbrass is brilliant. You know, and it's a really... Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen
Villain.
it. Yeah, I know. It's been
I
up for a
wrote
little
that,
while.
and it's like, if you like Turnout, it's like a real crime thing. Like,
I'll 100% watch it.
It's on a different vibe to a lot of the others.
I'll pay to watch it.
It's a completely different take.
Because I don't think it's not just out on Prime Video.
No, you have to pay for it. But if you don't like it, all right, I'll give you your money back.
Don't
not
be
you
silly.
lot, I can't afford it. But you, I'll give you money back.
No, I'll pay and watch it.
It's a very good film. It got New York Times critics pick. Right, it got 4 stars in like loads of publications like Time Out and like a load of others like Hey You Guys and all the really good reviews. And this is the most amazing thing. It got 3 stars in The Guardian.
That's good.
The Guardian look down on a lot of these. They shit over a lot of these films because they're normally because of a certain ilk.
Yes.
But to get 3 stars out of The Guardian for a film about working class people, gangster genre with Craig Fairbrass and me in it, it's a tough deal. Normally they're like 1, 2
stars. And usually they probably
job.
wouldn't even give it the time of day.
Yeah,
usually,
like they slated Turnout, you know, like because
really?
they slated it, the Guardian, but they gave that 3 stars, which I thought was an accomplishment because they took it on face value. It's a really well made and believable sort of take on the gangster genre.
Honestly,
with that human element that we like.
I just hope you're proud of where you've got to today. You know, nothing you've done, none of this. And I must tell you people, even what I'm doing, what Josh is doing, recording, like, none of this happens without you having a bit of confidence and getting up and actually going to do it.
Well, it's overcoming fear, isn't it?
Just do it. Whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Don't care about if people laugh at you. Don't worry if you have one person watch what you're doing and like what you're doing, even don't like what you're doing, you've done something. You've changed someone's life by putting your thoughts and creativity into the world. So again, lastly, let's give George another clap.
Thank
and
you.
Josh,
thanks Josh.
Thanks for recording.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
The Dominic Kelman podcast, and we're done.